Well, it's been tough. Fall went well until we closed school after Thanksgiving break. Came back and we started practicing, but I think it's been tough with the uncertainty week to week with having to shut down due to COVID, due to quarantine. Last couple of weeks have been a little difficult for the players having to quarantine. If somebody got it or were in contact with somebody not even from the team in the dormitories or somewhere. Hopefully we're through that. It looks good. We're starting our practices. The coaches are excited. The players are excited. So we'll see what happens. But Rugby East had a schedule early on, with Army and Navy and everybody. But obviously, that it's not working out the way we hoped. But hopefully a couple of the teams can play. We'll have to see.
Competition is a motivator, right? So players want to compete, coaches want to compete, we have conferences because you want to win the conference, and we have championships because you want to win the championship. None of that has been on the table. Does that affect some players? Do you see a drop off in motivation from some players because of that?
There's no doubt. And trying to grow the team culture and the team concept, not being able to get on the field and play for each other is tough, especially I have a young team, a lot of freshmen from different areas, from inner city, from California, from other countries. We haven't been able to get on the field and create a team culture and a team identity. And that's very important, with a young team. So they've been frustrated, not getting to know each other on the field. I think once you break down those barriers, it, creates more of a, understanding of where everybody comes from, if that makes sense.
Sure. Because the social, I asked the players, what do you do socially together? Because we go lifting, and rugby is our social interaction.
What do you guys do as a team off the field?
We lift. We got team lifting. Yeah, if we're not on the field together, we're in the weight room together.
Yeah, and as older people, my generation, we didn't depend on, this to interact or the computer interact, and sometimes we complain about that interaction and how much is done, I guess non-socially, over the internet, over the phone, and now we're kind of being forced into that, which is, a nightmare for me as a coach. But yeah, you play a game, then you get on a bus, and that's when you unwind and you get, hey, that was a great play you had, and this and that, and that's when the team really starts to gel. Then obviously, being on a college campus, we come and we do Bible study when we get back, and and everybody's happy. So how the Bible study goes when kids get back to campus, of course.
You mentioned recruiting. There are a lot of the number of college teams that have varsity or almost varsity or school-supported rugby programs is now so many. There's so many more of them compared to, say, 10 years ago, and you're competing often for the same pool of players. Is it harder to recruit now, or do you just have to work harder at it? Maybe.
I think a little of both. Obviously, we're trying to sell a school to a family, to a player that wants to play rugby at a high level, maybe go to take that second step or the next step into, next level of rugby. But I think I try to sell the Cleveland area, the Notre Dame philosophy or mission statement, and also the school of studies that we have here, and hopefully that fits within that person to have all those things in their their corner. But yes, definitely it's getting a little more difficult.
Players from overseas. Every college sports program in every sport looks for players who can help them from wherever, and everybody does it, and it shouldn't be looked on as a negative thing. Can it be a negative thing in the sense if you crowd out American kids, or is that not really your problem? How do you look at?
Well, I've said this from day one. I helped start one of the high school programs, St. Edward High School, along with a friend of mine, Matt Manerick, who actually started the program back in '99. I've been involved with youth rugby. I've watched, the rookie rugby with Dan Arbesnik doing a great job with that. That's where we need to start our kids, our players at that age, to be able to compete. Do I think it's? I would rather have a couple players from England, Scotland, Ireland, from overseas, and help teach the American kids culture of where they come from, because the culture of rugby is different in South Africa, different in Australia, obviously different in New Zealand and in other places, South Pacific. So I think having help, with that now, being able to put, 15 South African kids on the players on the field at once, I don't think that helps personally. The mission of USA Rugby, or making rugby USA Rugby better at the next level as far as USA Eagles goes. So I think there's a fine line between, and obviously the players I recruit from overseas want to come to a small college, want certain education that we offer, and also want to play rugby at the next level. I'm not sure I'm getting the top players from other countries coming over. Sometimes I do. Sometimes, obviously they're all very good players. Don't get me wrong, but I think the players that come from overseas are looking at a different program.
They have a secondary goal as well as rugby, right? They have a
right.
They have a career goal.
Well, that's the person I'm looking for. Quite honestly, is somebody that's going to come here, get an education, perhaps stay, get their work visa, and that's more of our niche. We do have a lot of recruiting firms that are looking, and quite honestly, some parents from overseas are looking for the small family, campus, 200, 2,400 students, 1,000, 1,100 on campus, are looking for that safe area, outside of, big city that it's easy to get in and out of. So it fits their budget, it fits their idea of what they want for their children.
Still, you have an eagle, right? Yeah,
we do.
And not every program, especially one as young as Notre Dame College, can say that.
Yeah, Marcus is Marcus Tupol. What can I say about him? He's a gifted individual. His work ethic is right up there with some of the greats we've had. Andrew Garrett's playing down at NOLA. They just left. I would leave here when Marcus was here, and he'd be on the field by himself, kicking the ball. Just doing what he could to be better. And you saw his 4 years when he was here. If you would have told me his freshman year he was going to be an Eagle, I would say I don't. He was good, but he was. But within his 4 years here, he really matured. Smart kid, a math major, and just he was very focused. He knew exactly what he wanted, and it's just it shows you what you can do if you have a goal.
I remember him as being all arms and legs for a while, right?
Not so
He's
much
a skinny
now.
guy, right?
Not so much now.
Not so much now. And grew as a player, certainly under your tutelage, and then continued to grow.
Well, obviously Mike Friday and Pinkelman and those guys have taken them under their wing and really created a man. As a matter of fact, we were watching him. My wife and I were saying how much of a man he is now. And we're proud of him. Great family. His mom's a great person. Dad met numerous times. So we're very proud of him.
Also speaks well to the Belmont Shore.
Oh, there's no doubt. No doubt. So, and obviously, at the end of the day, we want to grow rugby, especially USA Rugby. And that's the bottom line. Competition is important. But that's my feeling. So.